Hi. How you doing? I don't know whether to moan. I don't know whether it's going to give me that. Yeah, I think it will. I think it will. I mean, I'd love to because, like, let me just scoff a bit of this. This is always the best. It's always right. I'd love to because actually, what I was going to moan about was that I'm bored because can't sleep. But. Oh, that's good. Okay, so I'm bored because I can't sleep. So what I want to do is moan because, not moan, just like talk about shit, just, I don't know. I don't know why it entered my head that, well, I kind of do. Why it entered my head that, like, if I moaned, then I'd actually be doing something, you know what I mean? And it's movement, it's activity, it's something, you know what I mean? As opposed to, like, staying present and feeling kind of empty, you know? But I just kind of got put off because there was this moment, and it's having trouble swallowing the seeds. There was this moment, and, like, I wanted to moan because I thought I wasn't getting paid, and I knew that if I did, it would be bad because, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'm still stuck in speaking in, like, the way that people used to speak in, like, the 1980s, you know. What am I even saying? I've completely lost my thread. More melon. Okay, so where was I? Oh, yes. And I wanted to moan because something negative had happened. Or I thought it happened, but it hadn't actually happened. And I knew that if I moaned, there's, okay. In the mornings, last 3 days, I have bitched and moaned for about an hour or two, from sort of like 7 in the morning till about 9 in the morning, or 7 in the morning till about 8 in the morning. I do this because, and actually, the whole thing might be mute because, like, I have realized that I've been misdiagnosed as schizophrenic when actually I mean, the fact is, I don't hear voices. Um, my illness manifests itself in a different way to that. It's what people are saying. It sounds like it's malicious. And it can also go from being malicious to sort of like expand into being kind of magical. And when it's so malicious, that it becomes so stressful that it becomes magical. I realized that what causes these triggers is anxiety, and I know this because I started taking clonazepam, and it just cured me from being triggered, pretty much. Me being sane, pretty much. When someone speaks, it's just someone speaking. That's all it is. There's it's positive. It's somebody expressing themselves, and that's how it is. Now I'm on clonazepam, so I think the whole illness is has been misdiagnosed, and it is just anxiety, and I also know that I have PTSD. So I think that could be what is causing the anxiety. Not quite sure how I was gonna how I was put what I'm saying. I'm not quite sure how I was putting it together. Yeah, I for the last 3 days I've bitched and moaned, right? And in the morning for an hour or two. And this is because it makes my psychosis go away. I noticed this one time, and after that one time, I'm like well up for like doing it because I want to keep myself healthy. I want to keep myself out of psychosis, and that's why I do it. And for the rest of the day, I'll either be holding the energy that everybody around me is holding, whether that be positive, negative, or whatever, or I'll be sort of like ignoring that and just trying my best to stay present, because it allows me to listen harder, and be 10 times more confident. Um, but yeah, like I say, I don't know if I need to bitch and moan. Now I'm on clonazepam because I'm hoping that that drug, or maybe like, let's let's just keep it simple, stupid. This is saying keep it simple, stupid. Um, this drug will keep me out of psychosis anyway because of the steps that lead to psychosis. First, what happens is I get triggered by what people say. Then it goes a step further. This is my anxiety. This is definitely caused by anxiety because clonazepam cured it. Then the next step is that what everybody like for the whole day, every comment I hear is like super duper malicious. Um, that's the next step, and then the step after that is the stress of feeling and holding that basically everybody frigging wants to hurt me with what they're saying. Every single word I hear, is so incredibly stressful that it pushes me into sort of like a magical reality, which is psychosis, and I think that's how it works. Um, so I didn't really want to have a bitch anyway because um, I started with that because I knew it helped. It's the exact thing I did that literally I was in deep, deep, heavy, huge psychosis, and I just worried. I just started worrying, to try and cure it because I'd noticed that being assertive, being rude, and I don't condone being rude. I just discovered that I was rude one time. I'm not perfect. I was rude one time, and it lowered my psychosis. So I thought to myself, what will I do? What will I do to get rid of this psychosis? I've got to get rid of it. And I know there must be something I can do to get rid of it because it's happened before when I was rude. So I thought, what I'll do is I'll worry, and I knew that if I worried, it would trigger me, but I was willing to sacrifice that for getting rid of psychosis because that means I don't have to take pills. I didn't need to go to my doctor. I didn't need to ask for pills. I was triggered. That's not good, but it's better than having to take medication, sort of thing. So I have moaned the last 3 days, but it has changed from moaning and I think what helped me, I think what was the catalyst, I think what helped me move on from this moaning is writing it down instead, because with moaning there was always the stress of like people overhearing me, them saying something back, commenting on what I'm moaning about, and me taking that the wrong way, because I'm not perfect, and you meet anybody, if I'm moaning and somebody says something, they there was a time they joined in, they started like bitching about because I was slagging someone off, yeah, and I figured like I can slag someone off in my own home if I want, just talking to myself, but like it's a bit of a Nazi or like Chinese sort of mentality here where if you diss like Kim Jong Il, you get taken off and sort of thing around. It's a bit crazy around here actually. Because this person I'm moaning about is really the head honcho around here. Um but so I'm writing this stuff down, yeah, and I think that helped me to sort of like transition into instead of moaning, because I just came to this point where I realized I had to be kind, If people were walking past my window hearing me bitch, they might have got offended, and it is all over Tumblr, be kind. you know. Um, and like, I trust it. So, um, because there's some real dope ass people on Tumblr, and who would not listen to people that I really I don't know them, but like I really do respect them. Oops. Um, so that's what made me write it down. And then I just found myself not moaning, but just talking to myself about kinds of random shit. It's a bit like it's a bit like anger. You know how anger can with anger, with me, it's like I feel a couple of times it's allowed me to like break through into something better, something not as aggressive, something assertive instead. But I was just so scared of being assertive, that it took one moment of anger for me to like break through that wall of being scared to express myself, scared to be assertive, and you know, so the anger was actually a good thing. And I mean, I know that sounds completely insane because anger is a perfectly okay emotion. Um, and my first two times of feeling it, I did lose it. Um, I was because I'd never felt it before. I don't know where I got this from, where I learned this from, but I thought that being angry, sort of like went with being nasty to someone. I thought that's what it was, but like anger is just for me personally. Now I've been through that and got over it and just dropped the whole thing. Anger for me is just a feeling, and when I'm angry, all I do is I just feel the feeling. And yes, it does make me act differently, but it just makes me more like vivacious, more sort of like full of life, more want to like be more fun, really. Just makes me want to be more fun. Um but yeah, so in a similar way, from like breaking through, the bitching allowed me to break through into a reality where like um I think the problem really with all this psychosis is just that I was bored. I'm just bored. I was staying present, all the time, not thinking, and I was bored. I was bored and depressed. Um and So I'm moving through all these stages of growth very quickly in the last 3 weeks, and even the last few days. And I learned that I don't need to bitch. All I need to do is just talk to myself about anything random, just talk to myself, you know. Like the anger, I thought I had to go over the top. Now I know, it's just given me the power the power I need to just talk to myself, sort of like for hours about random shit. Don't care who hears, don't care what I'm saying, don't care if I trigger anyone because I'm not saying anything out of line. I'm not being rude to anyone in any way. I'm being respectful, I'm being kind. I guess it was just a fear of triggering people just because of hearing me talk, because like I say, it's a bit crazy around here, and I think the people here are sort of like vulnerable. Um, and I guess I was scared to talk to myself about random things in case they were listening and they got triggered. I don't know. I could be talking complete nonsense. I really don't know. It's just the way I see it. So, I guess, if you care, and like pretty much, this may sound cold, but I try not to care about people because I cared about this bloke once, I asked, is he all right? And he started coming on to me really hard sexually, and, that just put me off caring about people, to be honest. Um, I mean, if someone's got a moan, yeah, I want to hear it because I really enjoy um, seeing people express what's bothering them, because I know the power of it. I know how, like, I'll get a piece of paper and I'll write, like, say, like a couple of pages a day, maybe more, of like all this really fucking mean stuff, Um, and I just love it when people express what's bothering them, so I do care in that way. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, so, pretty random video. So I'll just shut this off and then I'll just continue talking to myself, hopefully, because that will keep me from being bored, and going out of my head because, like, I can't sleep. I mean, imagine, um, okay, look, I'll explain it from my situation, right, which I'm very fond of doing, okay, which is like, I'm not sleeping, okay, I can occupy myself by just talking about random shit, or I can be completely silent. Now, if I'm completely silent, that's a problem because I don't really like watching YouTube. I don't really like watching TV, and I don't really like listening to music. If I listen to music, it'll be when I'm out and about. I'll be on the bus. I'll be walking down Fulbridge Road, and I'll just listen to about three, maybe four tracks. I don't really like TV and I don't really like YouTube. I mean, to be fair, GB did this one where she gave me a wet shave and I enjoyed that fucking hard, and I mean, putting the towel on me and doing that was the best bit. But like, I mean, I can list what I've seen on my phone. And really, what I do in my phone is I sort shit out. The internet is really good for sorting shit out. You can Google shit, you can work out how to do shit. You can, like, I was sorting my benefits out on the phone. Trying to find out how to change my name part of my bank details, you know, but it had been changed anyway, so there was nothing to worry about, you know. There was like, you know, just being really busy on my phone, just doing shit. I just found that I could do a lot of shit on my phone and be busy that way. But apart from that, you know, I've watched what's it called? Why is it okay? I'm not trying to trigger anyone here, but it's got a title like I'm Cutting Myself or Broken Glass or something like that. I don't know if you know which one I'm on about, but I watched episode 1, series 1, and it was, you know, and going back about 4 or 5 weeks, I watched a Law and Order Special Victims Unit series 15, episode 1, and that was just amazing as well. But like I rarely, I mean, I can honestly say that I've not had my TV on for 3 weeks at least. I have not had it on for any reason, you know. I mean, my TV is like connected to my computer. I've got the HDMI wires, yeah, and I'll like swap it over and well, I won't need to swap it over because my computer's just plugged into it. I don't bother with my TV on, you know, I don't bother with my TV at all. But anyway, I'm rambling, so I'm going to stop this video. I hope you enjoyed the mukbang. Hope you enjoyed this. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.